Mega Man Battle Network 5. Team Colonel, because we gave up on properly making sequels at this point. Honestly, I can't believe they continued after 4. Let's see what I'm getting into. Take it away, Dr. Hikari.
Scilab Cyber Safety Department record. I don't fucking know. A few months ago, some giant metal alien named Duo tried to blow up the planet, and quite frankly, our budget is in shambles. We managed to patch the internet back together with duct tape and the hopes and dreams of children, but not much has changed. I still never see my wife, and Scilab still gets hacked by middle school dropouts on a daily basis. Somehow my son is the only competent counter-terrorist in the country at the age of 11. So we spent half of this year's Christmas bonus budget on this guy. He's supposed to save the entire net without getting hit even once. And you might think, hey, isn't that statistically impossible? A standard that will permanently destroy his mental health? Just don't tell him that. Let him think it's his idea. Just look at him go.
Disneyland!
Oh, we're so
The game runs us through the typical Battle Network formula for the 5th time for you all and the 500th time for me, because all these take half a dozen playthroughs. The evil people have taken their daily evil pills, and Lan tries to tell us the dog ate his homework despite it being empty for 5 games already because he didn't do it. And yeah, I don't want to do homework either. Mom asks us to get her stew recipe to one of her friends, which frames the tutorial. Slap, dash, and bam. If I can't figure out tutorials by now, there are bigger problems in front of me. This time around, the net actually feels incredible. It has a beautiful look about it, it feels much faster, it's wonderful to see Lan and Dr. Hikari finally upgrade to fiber gigabit considering everything Lan has done for everyone through the series. It's definitely a leap forward from Battle Network 4. We have a few new enemies this time around, but they're just new versions of the old cannon dumbs. They dropped some nice early game chips with an S code, so we'll make use of those and put together an S tier pile of cards where the S in this case stands for shit, but it's the best starting deck of any of the games so far, so it's something. Dad sends us an email because it's time for our token trip to Scilab with our friends, and the email just says, "Go Scilab," because Dad cosplays a samurai when he's not at work. You'd never know that though, because he's never home. Anyhow, we bring our friends to the Scilab, and Little Mac was waiting for us because we all get knocked the fuck out. Dad gets kidnapped by Dr. Regal from the last game, and all our friends' pets get taken, but the League of Advanced Felons, who I will be referring to as Loaf from now on, leave ours behind because we were in Dad's office and not with our friends, so they just assumed we didn't show up, I guess. This is the equivalent of not losing your phone because it was on the charger. We wake up 3 days later, Lan opens Firefox, and the internet just shows FUBAR because it's fucked up beyond all recognition. Time for an 11-year-old to do the work that probably some kind of cyber military should. So, let's get the Mega Man thing rockin' and rollin'. Rock and roll, get it? Because Mega Man. Anyways, we bust a few viruses, bust a few moves, bust some evil Navi's heads in, and honestly, it's a shame they did away with the generic Navi fights. They were probably one of the only good parts of Battle Network 4. Tangent aside, we find a door that we can't get through.
Lan, buddy, I'm sorry. I can't get through. This door's made out of door.
Well, shit, Mega. I guess this is where our journey ends. Well, on to Battle Network 6. The game can't progress, and here comes the token "here's the next thing" email stating that Scilab is being attacked. Again, I guess. Alright, hop the train and let's get going. We really should start negotiating a paycheck with how much time we spend here. Our first dungeon is about as normal as it gets. A few puzzles here for slight padding, and I run headlong into another boxer and get Mega Man punched in the face about 7 times. The actual reason is that I didn't understand the attack patterns of these little punchy guys, but let's just blame it on the controller sticking. Yeah, that's it. My controller was the problem. Not the severe dent in my forehead affecting my prefrontal cortex. Fast forward and we meet Colonel, the game's namesake, so full nerd mode here. Colonel was awesome in X4 and I love his inclusion here. I think I might even like his design here more because, I mean, just look at the saber on his arm. He pulls mad bitches with that, don't deny it. The fight takes about 4 attempts, nothing crazy yet. We are still in the early game after all.
That gun is as long as my lifespan.
Colonel's operator Beryl meets with us and says congratulations on passing the impromptu recruitment test because we just got jumped in a gang. Then he tells us to join him in liberating the net. Alright, but there better be some competitive wages here or else I'm out. I wonder how Dr. Hikari's doing.
Are you finally ready to talk, Dr. Hikari? The bathroom? Hell no, you can't go to the bathroom.
Somehow, I've been roped into some kind of internet Peace Corps, which is just a normal day for Lan and Mega Man. This will also lead us to the first liberation mission. And hey, remember that door that stopped us? Colonel kicks that shit in and makes us look like a baby. Come on, Mega Man, you're supposed to be the cool guy. This guy just put you on ice with that one. I'm not gonna lie, my comments section had me stressed about these, worried that they'd be difficult, but they remind me of a board game, and I love those, so these are actually really fun. You get to control Mega Man and Colonel in an odd game of chess with a few moves to get to a boss and put enough holes in his data to turn him into an email. Each fight, you get 3 turns to win, and if you don't win, you lose. Thanks for playing, but you lost the game a clue. We have 7 rounds to do it in, otherwise the liberation fails, so we just won't ever let that happen. No foreshadowing here. Our first boss is Blizzard Man, and after making our way to him, we jump in and kick his ass. What do you mean I didn't do it in 3 turns? What do you mean that does damage to me? 1 turn liberation. Oh, that gives us like extra...
Mods.
You get a ton of aerial.
Rip his
you
balls
get a ton of
off.
flash.
Oh. No! Attempt number 2. So my plan here is to have Mega Man carve a path to the boss and have Colonel dig his saber into the boss's shoulder and take him down, since he can easily just put out way more damage than we can at the moment. Alright, let's try this again. Our first boss of the game, assuming you don't count Colonel, is Blizzard Man, and he just tries to sit there and... But with a couple of lucky movements, he stops in front of me and I show him what happens when you get within melee range and sword his snowy guts, just barely clearing the 3-turn window and succeeding the tutorial liberation mission in 7 rounds. We don't get the SP Navi chip because we didn't do it in 5, but we can always pick that up later. Everyone starts worrying about their Navis because of the theft, but Yai, reflecting all the depression with that solar panel she calls a forehead, suggests we all go swimming, a place where we can't have our pets anyway. Unfortunately for her, Lan is the most in-demand 11-year-old on the planet, and we have work to do for the Liberation Front. We do some patrolling that is actually pointless because we find nothing, and then we follow Yai to the beach on a deserted island because she's rich. Which rich and island don't particularly go to the same sentence anymore, thanks to some events over the past few years. But anyways, Lan decides to go fishing with Dex, not really by choice, and we smack him with a stick because we're just dumbass little kids at our core. But then it's back to our regularly scheduled gaming time. You know it, you love it, it's the Navicust! The thing that makes these games not suck so much. Colonel and I sneak off to another mission, but we get shot at instead and are forced to retreat, which is going to become a very annoying running theme. Holy shit, whose idea was this?
It was yours, Colonel.
Shut the fuck up, Mega. So instead, we're gonna prove that children yearn for the mines by exploring the nearby abandoned mines, and because Lan is here, good old Lan, things go wrong and everyone falls in a hole. Now we have to rescue all our friends from certain doom. Just another day in the life of Lan Hikari. This dungeon was moderately annoying, but we do run into Princess Pride and Nightman from BN2, but Nightman's kinda going berserk because he ran out of Wheaties this morning or something. Now we have to deal with a drill digging down into the earth and nearly caving our friends' skulls in, so we better get on that. As much as I'd love to tell Princess Pride, yeah, that sucks. Anyways, my Toast-Its are done in the microwave, so I gotta go. We can't do that. So we punch some rocks doing our best Chris Redfield impression and go through this 4-stage dungeon to Nightman. The fight is actually pretty similar to the one in BN2. If you're one of the few people who watched the channel during my short depression era, then thank you for sticking around. The spirits are much higher this time around despite the series' efforts to ruin that. Thankfully, we pick up an invis chip here with a star code, so our special shit sandwich folder is building itself at this point. So I guess I'll just stick with it. We're also able to pick up a longsword chip now, so now we can do the life sword program advance and turn Nightman into Nightman because it's lights out for him after 2 attempts. Okay, come on, that one was clever. We save our friends, take Nightman with us into the net, and sit back while he starts the next liberation mission for us. And this is part of the whole, this series really wants to grind my legs into a fine mist because I can't even walk away from this now. We have 9 rounds to handle this, and have 3 Navis to get us through it. Mega Man is by far the weakest link for whatever reason, despite saving the world multiple times and being the champion of a dozen different tournaments. It doesn't make sense, but I guess game mechanics do. I don't know. Regardless of my gripes, Shade Man is a problem. He's back for whatever reason, despite being decimated previously, and his gimmick is that he attacks whoever stands next to a dark panel whenever his turn starts. Luckily, Nightman takes no damage from those hits, and this is going to be the most incredibly useful thing we get in the entire game for these liberation missions. Nightman carries. The problem though is Mega Man does take damage from those. So if we don't get a one-turn liberation on most of these fights, Mega Man's gonna end his turn near a shaded panel, and that's just a reload. The even more annoying part of this is that we're at the mercy of RNGs once again to give us the chips we need. Colonel and Nightman do a good job of carrying us like a duffel bag to the end, but here's another lovely problem. Most of our chips are S chips, as I said before, which turns into a mess when almost every chip we have is a sword chip. Thanks to the liberation missions being stupid, we only start with 2 rows of panels half the time. So already, we start a lot of these missions like our older brother is holding our palm to our forehead and helplessly windmill our arms at the enemy because a one-turn liberation probably won't happen, unfortunately. When we finally get to the end of this mission, we're on turn 7 out of 9 with all 3 of our teammates able to fight. So we have Colonel and Nightman hold each of Shademan's arms while Mega Man opens up the M249 and we have strapped to our arm into Shademan's face and get that SP chip. Thanks to it having an S code, we can slap it in our deck for a power bump. We also pick up our first achievement of the run, Forging a Path. After that, we get introduced to something good that came from BN4. Soul Unison! We get Night Form from, wait for it, you won't guess, Colonel, yeah. I lied. It's Nightman. No shit. And now he joins the team for good, so this will be a nice boost to our power. We head home after the beach trip, not even remotely tanned because we spent most of our time digging holes like a bunch of moles, and your local creep tells us to jack into the squirrel in the park, which I'm sure there's a joke there. The pieces are laid out for us, but I just can't find it.
Hey kid, want some candy?
I need an adult.
I am an adult.
We dig through the Squirrel Comp dungeon and grab a few programs, like the one that gives us a barrier on fight start, which is nice, but it'll get replaced soon. At the end of this squirrely path, we find Shadow Man, who has the loyalty of a freelancer on Fiverr. BN1, Undernet villain. BN2, Gospel's problem child, and now he's here testing us like we didn't already wipe the floor with him twice. I would respect the commitment to being untrustworthy if he wasn't so insufferably smug about it. Every time he disappears into the net with that little laugh, I feel my left eye twitch. Shadow Man, figure out what you believe in and stick with it, or so help me God I will have Flash Man on speed dial. And then he just disappears, gone.
Oh man, I can't mind having Ninja vanish.
We're left sitting in the park staring at a giant squirrel and wondering if any of it mattered. Oh well, time for a shopping trip at Higsby's shop, which is finally open, which means we have access to the Number Man lottery again. We end up getting a Cus2 program that lets us start with an extra 2 chips, which will help cut a lot of RNG out of our fights, so that's really nice. We also grab Dark Invis, which, dude, you told me last game at length how dangerous these are. Why is it just here? Higsby really said, hey man, guns aren't toys. Now check out this Sig Sauer P365, now with a loose firing pin, and blam, there goes the countertop. After watching Higsby metaphorically blow the glass off his countertop, Lan and Mega Man head back into the net to get rid of some loaf guys, and while we're here, we snatch Mail's diary, because we are still a kid, and that's apparently what normal kids do to each other. This section took a little while because that massive dent in my forehead begs to be cratered even harder, and I let Nightman hit me in the face. I should really learn just to not get hit. After this, we get a call from Princess Pride crying that someone dismantled Nightman and it's our job to fix because Colonel's busy grocery shopping, I guess, so we meet up with Princess Pride and have no problems for once. And oh boy, Shadow Man's back at it again with his infuriating antics. If you could, fuck off and make a left at Kiss My Ass Avenue, that would be wunderbar. Meeting up with Beryl, we get an emergency alert from the Orin area because, wouldn't you know, it's Shadow Man, and I'm getting really tired of you. Does Flash Man cancel you out? Get him on the phone. So now we get to chase him around and do an honestly boring puzzle section where we're at Discount Luigi here vacuuming up clouds, and it's all worth it to give Shadow Man another haymaker before Colonel breaks the wall down. Hey, buddy! This was another test. His idea. Anyway, there's a sandwich in the Liberation Team fridge for you. And then the next mission starts. Here's the fun part. Despite the reset counter jumping like your heart rate when someone knocks on the door with something unscrupulous on your screen, this mission was a lot easier than the last one. I finally realized I could switch character turns, which, wasn't me being dumb, it was just another layer of the challenge I didn't tell you about. That's it. Perfectly reasonable. I just got tired of it. You can't prove otherwise. And then just like that, Shadow Man becomes the best thing ever to happen to us. Walking over dark panels, grabbing keys, making every liberation feel like we're cheating. I still don't trust him, but I respect the work ethic now. The boss this time around is Cloud Strife. Cloud Man. And this took me too many tries. I tried having Nightman open up as a tank and eat some attacks that don't affect him while Mega Man and Colonel throw some damage, but somehow I just kept having random clouds hit me, chalking up another reset. When I finally actually did get good RNG, Colonel took out half of Cloud Man's health. Shadow Man used his special ability to knock another 150 off of him, and then Mega Man just had to eat through 200 HP, which is like 2 chips or a good program advance to just slap him down. This only took 7 out of our 9 phases, so we easily get the Cloudman SP chip and the achievement Strategy Forecast. And now that that's done, Mega Man gets captured and Loaf probes him with a dark chip, thoroughly rocking his shit sideways yet again. But based on his track record, he's fine. I think he is. Mega Man buddy, you okay? So Mega Man is currently undergoing evilification, and while Lan is panicking over it, Barrel bitch smacks me and yells at me to stop being a little bitch and get it together, which was a huge shock to me. I didn't expect that, and if we weren't working together, I'd probably have my lawyer on the phone faster than you could fucking blink. Regardless, we have a mission to do. So get used to controlling Colonel, because work doesn't care if you're broken. So we scout out the next area and scout it out like we're playing a game of Civ 6, and oh hey Mega Man, where'd you go, buddy? And when did you change clothes? Wait, you don't change clothes. Why are you sending a small army at me? Oh,
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
So I guess this is just how every mission goes. We get in over our heads and we pull out of there like we're trying to not father a dozen children. Sure, I guess. And now it's time for us to board a luxury cruise. Finally, some compensation for my trauma. But no, Loaf is here trying to jack some new tech and it's actually a work trip. Hooray! Suspicious Man is suspicious because, well, would you trust this guy? I sure as hell wouldn't. Oh cool, we get to meet Tomahawk Man and his operator, Dingo. That's a name. Now, even though using Colonel is really fun to me, honestly more than Mega Man at this point in the story, he can't pick up any HP ups or anything, which means I get to go back through this whole area grabbing everything when we do get Mega Man back. So we beat the brakes off of the Loaf agent and he runs away. On a boat. He didn't really think that one through, did he? He turns up after a while and the tech we were stationed to guard is missing, which means our star-stunning career in security is already over. Fantastic. But if he didn't do it, then who did? Well, wouldn't you guess it was Dr. Sus himself, Dingo, and now the worst dungeon in this series. Ironically, despite this whole area looking like it's underwater, this is just hell. I'm not even kidding, this is just actual hell, I don't even care. So here's the gimmick, right? It's half underwater, and that's where the keys are hidden. Alright, no big deal. What the fuck do you mean I have to hold my breath? From what, the digital ocean? And our breath gets drained by tornadoes, giant water jets, and you're supposed to be able to tap A and stand your ground, but the game is held together with duct tape and sticky tack sometimes, and yeah, my input was yummy. Give me another one. Meaning I just eat shit. Oh, and there's new enemies here. Most of them aren't a problem. Just hit them with the usual and they're gone. Easy enough. But the yellow submarine enemies, called marinas, can fuck right off. I don't care that I'm sinking everyone the Beatles know and love by blowing these up. If this is what happens, they deserved it. Marinas can hide underwater tiles, which are fucking everywhere. And then they shoot these slow-moving bubbles, where if you pop the bubbles, cool, Maze anchor's flying at your face at Mach Jesus, and now you're hit and reset. This combination caused so many resets. The rest of the series has nothing on this small section that almost sent me out the fucking window because plunging onto the sidewalk would at least show me there was an end in sight. So we finally finished that and get to Tomahawk Man, who gets bent over easy peasy. I'm mad and he deserved it. So with that, he joins our cause because I guess every time you beat the shit out of someone, they're like, fine, guess I'll join you. So we all head back into the net and Tomahawk Man ass blasts the 12 Navi army and we have our next liberation mission against Mega Man. And this, by stark contrast, is almost embarrassingly simple after that huge trudge we just had. 2 out of 10. Could close my eyes and still slap this mission. We don't have Mega Man this time around, but as I mentioned before, he's just the weakest link of this team right now. But in his place, Tomahawk Man has the ability to hit 6 panels at once. And Shadow Man being able to walk over panels to get keys for us, we just stomped through everything like an elephant in the plains. We had 10 rounds to complete this, and I did it in 6. Absolutely simple. Mega Man himself is a lot harder than the mission portion because he uses chips that we have in our folder, so sometimes we just get rolled or shade-manned or cannoned and just eat the damage because I built him that way. Eventually, Colonel comes in and shows him why he's the boss and punches Mega Man in the gut to knock him down to 100 HP, and then Tomahawk Man just absolutely nukes him. And that's the threat busted. Mega Man breaks free of the dark chains and comes back, and now we have probably the most broken Navi of the team. Turns out darkness and evil does have benefits to it. So now that we have the GOAT, Barrel tells us that Higsby wants to join the team. Sure, why not? Next mission is a go. I stop and show the optional navies the full power of my Dark Shotgun because Dark Mega Man is nothing to sneeze at, S-ranking all of them with no problems. Numberman and Higsby apparently have a date with our teacher, Miss Mari, so he can't open the next mission for us, and we try to get the mental image of that out of our head. He ends every sentence with huh. He can't sound that appealing. Well, since we have some time to kill, might as well go see what our dad wanted to show us before his untimely kidnapping. And here's the thing about BN5 that nobody warned me about. It has genuine heart. Dr. Hikari, who across 5 games has been present for approximately none of Land's defining moments, whose entire character is sorry son, Scilab needs me, left something behind. A scavenger hunt through the net that rebuilds AC/DC Town as it was the day Land was born. It doesn't change the story, but sitting here watching this unfold, I felt something I wasn't expecting to feel after 4 games of the series grinding me into dust. Something like warmth. That's when Numberman betrays us. Him and Higsby joined Loaf, just like that. And look, I want to be shocked. I genuinely want to perform the emotion of surprise right now, but this is Numberman. We beat him in BN1, hung out with him for 5 games, and apparently that wasn't the trust building exercise I thought it was. That's on me. So fine. Let's turn his binary bitch ass from 1s to 0s, and hell, we got Dark Mega Man now, so let's throw a 2 in there for good measure. That should really fuck him up. Well, it turns out that Loaf actually cloned Numberman and Mega Man to try and get us to turn on each other, but this Mega Man wears glasses and pocket protectors, so we give him a wedgie and call it a Wednesday.
Hey guys, I'm gonna kick your ass.
Anyways, clones dealt with, dignity somewhat intact. Let's take on Liberation Mission number 5 against Cosmo Man. This one's another casual stroll through the park. The gimmick here is traps, and we don't get Shadow Man because Numberman takes his place, so that's fine. But traps are annoying because if we liberate the wrong tile or get a 1-turn liberation and there's one near us, we get zapped and paralyzed or take an explosion for 50 damage. The paralysis is whatever, it's the damage we're afraid of because, well, if you haven't figured that out by now, I can't really help you. Anyhow, we get through everything and the mission is over in a blink, because not only can Numberman mass disarm traps in our way and pick up items, but now that we have Chaos Form with Invis or a drill that probably came out of a horror movie because it minced everything in its path, it's totally overkill, but overkill is fun and good for your soul. That's just another easy SP chip secured for using your head, and honestly, with the exception of Mission 2, these are a breeze. I think you guys oversold the idea of these games being difficult.
Foreshadowing is a literary device in
Maybe we'll just have to see what lies ahead for us. So back to the game, we have to clean up the internet again before we can finish off Loaf, so that's fun. I love walking into the hood and getting mugged. Lan's friends find out that we've been a part of this online neighborhood watch and want to join in and help us, but there's a problem. They ain't got no navies. Their navies are in the hands of a complete sociopath. Well intended, but a lot like waking up to a shootout and going, yo, tag me in, but you have nubs instead of arms. Barrel gives us our next mission. We need to find the Hikari report, and I swear to God, if this universe has Epstein files, I'm going to drop kick a small animal. We start tracking down anything about it that we can, only to find out that that old AC/DC was called a Vision Burst, and the dog that we encountered in it has completely gone missing. But it's okay, we eventually find it, and Mega Man drops the ball and the dog is kidnapped. And thus, the Hikari report remains redacted. Good going, buddy. Headquarters calls and tells us, yo, the ops are spinning the block, so we go back and turn those busted ass navies into Swiss cheese. We've already Swiss cheesed these guys before. They're coming back for the come up or something. Lan asks Higsby for some assistance figuring out a new home base, and this absolute fucking elbow has the audacity to say, yeah, sure, but you gotta do a job for me first, huh? Like, dude, we're on the same team trying to save the world, remember? I get your date with Miss Mari didn't go well, but that doesn't mean you can just hold this stuff on a leash like that. So we take care of a small side quest to help him out because we can't progress otherwise, and he agrees to give us a base in the back of his chip shop, which means we can finally start Liberation Mission number 6, I think. Toadman is trying to get to the Undernet, and then bam, Cloudman breaks the gate open to inflate a toad like a balloon, and Colonel dives in to save him and drops dead. GG, my investment is over. Barrel asks us to be the team leader because Colonel was that, and well, wartime promotion and all. Rabita feels bad about getting Colonel killed and wants to join the team, and while Lan waffles about the decision, Rabita throws an ultimatum and says, so either I join the team, or I run into the Undernet and die. Which kind of has the same energy as robbing a bank with a gun to your own head. I don't know. Either way, your problems are solved, I guess. Anyways, Rabita jumps through the Undernet with Toadman, and when we get to him, he's significantly easier than BN2, so thank God for that. Mega slaps the frog shit out of him, and we call it a day. Our teammates show up and go, you see? You can be the leader, because apparently the only thing that matters in terms of leadership is cruel violence with the side of deleting whatever the fuck stands in our way. Sure, that's a healthy mindset. Let's take on the next Liberation mission. And if the foreshadowing wasn't enough, the main enemy here is Colonel, because death does not actually affect you in the Battle Network series unless you're generic or evil. Isn't that a fun thought? Plot armor is my favorite thing.
I thought your favorite thing was women with muscles.
Well, you're not wrong there. Well, this mission is harder than the last one, I think. So we get Toadman for this run, and his ability lets him buff an ally, which lets them liberate 5 squares ahead, meaning that Numberman and Shadowman are both actually relevant and useful for doing more than disarming traps and running around in circles. Shadowman can't actually steal keys this time around because they're all surrounded by enemies, and I'd rather not send him in for a most preventable death challenge, which currently Tomahawk Man is in the lead for. After the relatively hassle-free mission, we face Colonel, and y'all, sit down if you're not, because this fight right here is actually so fucking easy. I don't know, bro fell off, and it took me 1 attempt. Go tend your wounds, Colonel. You need a Gatorade. Holy shit.
Colonel, you gotta come back to us. We all miss you.
Robert.
2 plus 2 is 4.
I think I need a drink. Colonel runs off to crack a Gatorade, and Regal decides to put his plan into motion, in which the entire town becomes anarchist, but in a bad way. They start stealing everything that's not nailed down and insulting everyone around them just for the sake of doing it.
Why are you so fucking ugly, bro?
So basically, AC/DC Town becomes Detroit. Our mother, seemingly unaffected, hands us an amulet from Dr. Light, and we move. Now we're unaffected because of the amulet. And now we gotta race around the map and burn down 4 data centers that are causing people to lose their shit. At each server, a corrupted teammate is there, and none of them put up a fight. Except Nightman, who made me redo the entire section because I had him at 20 HP, and then that forehead dent from the start of the video kicked back in, and I found out that it fits a giant mace very well. Beryl gives us a call and tells us we need to go to the Undernet and kill this thing at its source. But hold on. It's fucking grind time because there's a program advance called Wild Bird, and I want it. It's also an S code, so it slips right into our super shit stomper folder. And on top of that, it also does massive damage to everything in front of us, minus the 3 squares in the back, but it hits 3 times. So we're gonna make a small detour and grab some katana chips, along with breaking Larkman's knees 4 times for his SP chip. Fun fact for you all, his name in Japanese is Sparrowman, which is so much better than Larkman. Sounds like he just waits on forums for someone to post a wrong opinion. The final server is just ahead, and who shows up but Colonel saying we don't need the server anymore before lighting it on fire and doing our job for us, so rock on I guess. But we can't just leave him here. So because the narrative must move on, Toadman shows up to use his healing song to stun Colonel before ProtoMan realizes he's in the wrong version of the game. So he helps us save Colonel and turn him back to normal. I'll admit, the scene is damn nice for a GBA game. But here's a moment to think. Regal might have actually won this whole ordeal if he had just, I don't know, killed Mega Man or killed Colonel, because nobody would have been competent enough to stop him. Oh well, you played yourself, buckaroo. When we make our way back home, Mom gives us a data disk for more plot reasons, so we hunt down a vision burst that shows us that Regal is actually the son of Dr. Wily, which is a solid plot twist. I didn't expect it and definitely didn't see it coming. But we can't dwell on it because we have to rip an evil organization to shreds, and this is probably my favorite final dungeon of the Battle Network games up to this point. Every section sees Mega Man and maybe 1 or 2 other nabbies swap places to hit switches to get Mega Man to the boss. But the part I don't enjoy is that there's slime falling off the ceiling that does damage to you if you happen to breathe too close to it. There's also the fun fact that when you aren't piloting Mega Man during the other Navi sections, you don't have Sneak Run. So there's just a mountain of encounters wasting our time because they aren't as strong as Mega Man, with the exception of Tomahawk Man, who has a charge shot from whatever digital god is out there. With each section of the dungeon complete, we lose a party member and have to refight the Navis from the Liberation missions. And hey, they did the refight thing again. Once the 4 refights are done, we get Roll Gutsman and glide back and take on the final boss of the game, Nebula Gray. I used exactly 4% of my brain this time and rearranged my chips and my Navicus so I don't have another duo disaster like in Battle Network 4 where he made me feel like I was in high school again. Regal tells us about the Soul Net, which is something that Wily and Light worked on to interlink the souls of all of humanity so we could understand each other, and he's gonna ruin it. So, let's jack in, Mega Man. Right away, we're attacked by Navis we've already pieced up, bobbed, weaved, and shoryukened into dust, like Shade Man, who really needs to learn when to quit.
Okay, I'm surrounded, and all my friends are dead. What do I do? Think, Mega, think.
Use the Force, Mega Man.
Who said that?
I'm just fucking with you. I always wanted to say that. We're not dead, by the way.
And then boom, big reveal, none of our friends are actually dead because I told you, that doesn't work on main characters. This is the canon of Mega Man. And this is also the canon of Mega Man. We fight onwards to get to Nebula Gray, and holy fuck, it's Calamity Ganon. After Duo, I really didn't know what to expect here, but happy to report this time around, I did not need to rely on the pause trick because I had plenty of firepower to take him down with ease, after I got my forehead smashed in about 12 times learning his pattern, but besides that, the S-code chips that we've held the entire game have made a sizable difference to everything. Being able to combine Number Man with Super Vulcan, use Life Sword, Wild Bird, and the drill that pierced the heavens. That does a whopping 600 damage, by the way. Nebula Gray became Nebula Ground Beef. His fire attack had a slight tendency to be annoying, but beyond that, easy peasy lemon squeezy. With Loaf down, Mega Man sheds his mortal form and gets naked and seal the darkness with him's friends. He shoots it once, and we win. Case closed. Dad stays behind with Regal to try and have him turn over a new leaf and be a better person before Wily, who once again is not dead by the way, his longevity and survival needs to be studied because he should have been dead a long time ago by now. Anyways, Wily uses the SoulNet technology to wipe Regal's memory of the last 10 years so he can live a normal life. And then Wily, who apparently knows Beryl, tells him to get our dad and Regal out of here. No clue what's going on here, but with any luck, Battle Network 6 will expand on it because I am invested now. The game ends with Regal joining Scilab with Dad and becoming a lot happier, which I guess 10 years of hate and anger disappearing will do that to you. Now, onto the post-game, because holy bittersweet fuck, there's a lot of chips to collect. So here in the post-game, there's one dark chip left to collect, too, if you count the second copy of Invis that I missed my first run through. So I start running into computers I didn't the first time, looking for infected RAM cards and NVMe hard drives, and I rifle through NPCs' pockets till I become a dark chip collector. After that's taken care of, I asked my good friend Chrono Mario, whose link will be down in the description of this video, to share their library with me so I can get 100 chips in my library and spare me some grinding. We start running into the undernet with our government-sanctioned heat to protect us from the nightmares that are down there to get to the secret path to Nebula area. And this is where once more, the Battle Network postgame once again has me perusing Amazon for a way to curb my suffering. As soon as we enter the Nebula area, we immediately get accosted by Shade Man, who is looking like Randy Marsh right now.
I didn't hear no bell.
So we have to do another liberation mission. This time around, we get Tomahawk Man, Nightman, Colonel, and Number Man, and with Number Man's inclusion, you know that trap panels are going to be liberating this place like downtown Los Angeles. Thankfully, we have Nightman who can block damage from Shade Man because otherwise, Damageless would be a nightmare if not impossible. And enough resets have made my drywall sweat already. There's also harder enemies now, and I thought for sure this would be the peak of the post-game difficulty, but oh how wrong I was. Past Rarno had no clue what he was getting into. This post-game made Battle Network 3's post-game feel incredible, like a nice walk in the park with an umbrella to keep the sun off you, ice cream from a little cart, a stiff breeze to help you keep cool. I might even revisit the post-game of Battle Network 3 just to fucking calm down. In this one, if you run out of order points, you're fucked. Sideways, with a stick of salted butter. You need Number Man to get rid of these trap panels. The mission was made to be done perfectly. Or I can use my already dented head as a hammer against the nearest concrete wall. On the topic of walls, the enemies here called Dominards, and whatever Capcom employee sprinkled these in, I hope your bedroom floor gets sprinkled with D4s. I want you to enjoy walking on fucking caltrops just to go to the bathroom because these things are awful. The only reprieve here is that you put Shade Man at the end, who has as much fortitude as a wet paper bag, and I rip through him with no problems. But these missions are pulling more feelings out of my soul than any of the bosses ever can or will. This one's getting an 8 out of 10 on difficulty, on par with the second in the story for liberation missions. For the second post-game liberation, I considered just scrapping the whole recording here. Thought about uninstalling this shit show straight up. So, we get Tomahawk Man, Shadow Man, Toad Man, and Number Man. Fuck their abilities. The mission is covered in traps. If you don't have the points to Number Man vacuum the field like he's playing Minesweeper, we aggressively put another point into the retry counter. And the worst part is, you need to grab extra points at least twice. There are a few laying around, and guess what? Another Capcom employee had the clairvoyance to know that I would be subjecting myself to improvised torture and said, yeah, let's surround the hole with traps, that'll be sick. At minimum, you have to use Number Man 3 times and piss those turns away, and at one point, I just face-checked the trap, which thankfully was a stun panel, so our no damage clause is still safe. One of the worst things about this mission though is not having Nightman here to tank damage for us, so if an enemy just decides to walk up and backhand us, we can't do shit about it. And if that's not bad enough, all the fights are covered in poison tiles and surrounded by enemies. We move, damage. We don't move, damage. So we have two options. Either force float shoes on Mega Man or throw a panel fix chip in there. The only drop of luck on my side is that Shadow Man has float and air shoes built into his kit, so he carries a lot of the regular liberations. This mission did not just make me angry. Incredibly, earth-shatteringly, unreasonable fuck-ass mad is the word. I nearly broke my controller out of pure frustration. This is the hardest mission, and it isn't even close. This is like a 15 out of 10. Go to hell, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Just directly to hell. The shining bright light is that Cloudman is the boss here, and I snap him out of the way. Cry more, nerd. There's one more liberation mission that needs doing, but I need a break. There's a few random clowns around the net that need to be rinsed off and get their V3 chips for all the navies we've taken down at this point. I'll also grab a few more power-ups that bump my HP up to 980, which is where I would put a fuck if I had one. Our HP is still 1.
And this is where I put it.
Health bar.
If I had one.
Alright, let's talk about the final liberation mission. It's still tough, but not backbreaking like the last one was. The team we get here is just shy of perfect. Colonel, Nightman, Shadowman, and Toadman. The only replacement I would do here is replacing Colonel with Tomahawk Man, but other than that, perfect. The enemies here are both Blizzard Man and Astro Man, and the entire area is covered with key panels with enemies that have the pimp hand warmed up and ready for a pimp smack. Nightman carries this mission by being the tank that he is. Astro Man and the birds have some insane range, and Nightman just puts up his dump truck of an ass to stop it all. Without him, this probably isn't possible damageless. I don't know what Team ProtoMan is doing, but they ain't got Nightman to save them. So I would say this is the part where picking Team Colonel really saved the day. Hooray for the canon choice! Though there was an annoying section that I needed to roll a 1-turn invisibility on a special square because I didn't realize there was an enemy near me. But as a whole, the whole mission just wasn't that bad. 7 out of 10. Astro Man went down like a bitch though. 1500 HP taken down in one fight with Mega Man. No need for the backup. Sent his ass crashing back to Earth. Finally, we're able to enter Nebula 6, where we have the dark version of all of our friends that need to be taken down. And you know what the worst part is? To be able to even unlock the dark versions of our friends to fight, we need to fight their regular V3 versions, or their fucking Alpha, Sigma, Delta, Beta, garbage versions, whatever you want to call them. Omega? I think it's Omega. Regardless, we need to do those first, and they're all random fucking encounters. This shit is so ass. I'm not even lying. The amount of times I got into a fight with one of these guys and went, oh my god, thank god I've tried to get into a fight like 98 times now, and then they fucking slapped me in the face and ruined the fight? I don't even want to talk about it. Toadman was the worst one. I beat him 4 times, and every single time I was 5 seconds over the S rank. Eventually, I did get incredible chip RNG and made him my bitch, but that was a stressful process. After we get the Omega Navis dealt with, we can fight their dark versions, and these are supposed to be the hardest ones across the entire game, but I first tried all of them. I don't know if it was the music I put on or the rage that had made me ascend into a Super Saiyan, but this was so easy compared to everything else in the game. Because we beat all the dark navies, we now unlock our super boss, well, one of them. Nebula Gray Omega, which is more of the same but with a larger health pool. I ended up running out of chips during this fight and had to buster him down because I missed like an idiot, but I did the same thing with Duo, so nothing new there. But we still aren't done. There's one more badge to get on the title screen, and that's for killing Omega Base. And the process for this? Well, get ready for convoluted. We need to jack out of the net, jack back into the net, run all the way back to Nebula 6, and fight all the dark navies again. But this time, you better have a timer because you need to get them within a 2 and 3 minute window. Too fast and Base is cowering in the corner. Too slow and he doesn't think you're strong enough to bother fucking with. Excellent. Base is definitely more of a challenge than Nebula Gray was, but only an annoyance factor. It's not that much more difficult and probably the easiest of his renditions since Battle Network 1. This isn't a complaint, mind you, this is just an observation. Then we tackle Base Omega and get my 100% badge. And I hate to tell you, I beat him on my first try. Sorry for an anticlimactic ending, but I'm just built different. He's built wrong. GG Base. I'm sitting 5-0 and you're 0 for 5. Try to get good. Oh boy, Mega Man Battle Network 5 damageless, mission complete. Some of you said this was impossible, but ha, got your ass. It was still tough as nails though. That postgame didn't fuck around, so I gotta give this a 4 out of 5. Still have yet to find a game that gives me a 5 out of 5, but not bad. Also, please like and sub. My writer's in the dungeon chained to her computer and hasn't seen her cats in weeks. Every sub lets her escape for an hour. We also have more challenges and such coming in the future. And of course, a super special shout out to Banjo, Anima, Yo, and Lux for supporting me on Ko-Fi Monthly. I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and bye-bye.